All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? It is Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. This morning, we're going to talk about what it's going to take to win in 2022. Surprisingly, it probably will be a little bit different than what it took for you to win in 2021. So, what is it going to take for you to win in 2022? We're going to go through it this morning. We're going to talk about how things change, how things evolve, how you should be evolving, and how your goals, your dreams, everything that you want to accomplish in 2022 should be significantly bigger than what it was in 2021. That's what we're going to talk about this morning. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, what's happening, guys? Good morning to you and happy Tuesday to you. I wanted to talk this morning a little bit about 2022. It's right around the corner. What is it going to take, for us to be able to win big in 2022? And, it's always it's a topic that I get a lot of questions about, how do we plan for the next year? When do we start planning? What does it look like? How do we do it? All those types of things. And I think, for a lot of people, a lot of people don't understand exactly how to plan, or they've never been walked through that at some point in my career. I didn't know the proper way to do it either. What I will tell you is that proper planning for 2022 does not happen in 2022. It happens in 2021. And so the good news is you still got a handful of days left here if you haven't started planning. But I think it's important for you to get really clear on exactly what you want. And it doesn't matter if you're a business owner, if you're on a team, if you're looking to open a business, you're an employee somewhere. It doesn't make a difference. What matters is that you have a position that you want to take on what 2022 should look like at the end of December of next year. So December 21st, 2022, when I look into this camera and talk to you guys, what should it look like? If you define success in your own life, whatever that is, whether it's personal goals, whether it's professional goals, regardless of what the circumstances are for your life and where you want to go, what your individual goals and dreams are, you should definitely have a strategy of how you're going to accomplish that. Let me expand on that a little bit. Regardless of whether your dreams are becoming a better husband, becoming a better spouse, becoming better at your job, growing your business, whatever that may be, you have to get very clear on what it's going to take for you to accomplish that. If you're looking to grow personally, there's something about yourself that really has nagged you for a long time. You've just kind of been sweeping it under the rug, and you want to tackle that in 2022. You just have to get super clear on exactly what it's going to take to be able to accomplish that in 2022. What does it take? If you want your life to look different at the end of next year, then you can't be the same person when next year arrives. You have to figure out what it takes to be able to do that. That's what we're going to unpack this morning in some detail. But first, I want to start by just saying good morning to some folks. We're going to start at the bottom of the list, the most recent comments here, and move up this morning. Christina Macy, good morning to you. Dean Dio, good morning to you, brother. Matt, Gary, Tony Grout, David Martin, Eli, Trudy, Ed. We got the whole TPG team here this morning. Tammy Clark and Daniel Good, good morning to you guys, and thank you guys for being here. And I hope this episode will be helpful to you guys. I hope that you'll walk away thinking to yourself, man, there is something more that I need to do before 2022 gets here to put myself in the best position. And by the way, I've done a lot of planning, but I'm going to dial everything in detail next week, right? The week between Christmas and New Year's at the Pavement Group, we always close down the office. If our customers need us, we stay dialed in, but we get a lot of time. We get a lot of time to just kind of relax and recharge. And that is a week, man, where I really get a lot of things clear. I get a lot of things done. And I get a lot of things dialed in on how that year is going to go, from sales activity at the Pavement Group to my personal goals to, everything that I want to do as an individual for my own personal growth. I dial all that stuff in over the last 2 months of every year. So starting right around November 1st, I start really planning, thinking about what next year looks like. And by, the middle to the end of December, man, it is crystal clear and we are ready to roll, right? And then what happens is, from what I do in November, from what I start thinking about in November, we start making those moves. We start doing the things that would be necessary for us to create success next year at a high level. We start doing them sooner. So the end of every year finishes strong, and then it carries momentum into the following year. So with that said, let's give a couple of examples. Let's say that personally you want to do something different. Let's just say personally you want to improve your relationship with your spouse. One of the things that I've got literally on the lock screen of my phone here is that I want to have a date night with my wife every single week. And we do a pretty good job of this, but we don't do it every single week. And so I wanted to change that. I wanted to change that trend so that we have one-on-one time, me and my wife, every single week. That is part of a bigger goal that I have of kind of, I'm 42 years old. I'll be 43 in June. And I start to look at things, down the road. Like, what does it look like as our kids get older, as our kids, might become less interested in us when they get older, right? Down the road, what does that look like? And so I want to be able to create the absolute ideal relationship with my wife. We've got a great marriage, but how do I get it to a 10 out of 10? So I'm not looking to necessarily repair anything. I'm looking to take it to the next level. Having a date night once a week is one of the ways that I plan on doing that, right? That's the personal side of things. The other thing that we do in our household is we have a family business meeting to discuss what happens from a week-to-week basis in our house. So Sunday evenings, we talk business called family business. Like, what is going on? What's going on with our finances? What's going on in the businesses? What's going on in all these different places? You might think that you see your spouse all the time and that you guys spend a lot of time together, but until you actually carve out that time to do that, it will not seem like everything that's going on in your marriage or in your lives, right? And so taking the time to do that is very important. That is kind of the personal side of my life and what I'm trying to do, just a small portion of what I'm trying to accomplish personally and how I'm trying to grow in our marriage. There's a lot of different things with my kids and all kinds of other stuff that I've gotten written down that I want to do as well. Professionally, right? How do I divide up my time properly? How do we grow exponentially in each of the companies that I'm a part of? How do we get those priorities straight? What are the things that we want to accomplish detailed in each company? And then what are the activities that it's going to take for me to be able to contribute and accomplish all of those things? How do I balance it all? Well, I balance everything that I do by getting super clear on what's needed. So if we set goals, if we just go out there and we set a goal for what we want to accomplish and we don't put the activities behind it for what it's actually going to take to accomplish that, then it's not a goal, man. It's just a dream. If it doesn't have a concrete activity list attached to it, what is it going to take for you? Not just what everybody else has to do, but what do you have to do? So what will it take for you to win in 2022? What is it going to take for you to do? And then what is it going to take for everybody else to be able to contribute? What are the activities necessary for the company to succeed, for your team to succeed, for your family to succeed? But think about what is your responsibility first. And when you start to look at that stuff and you start to say, okay, I want to get from this revenue goal to this revenue goal. Well, what is it actually going to take? Because I see a lot of people, man, they have goals and they set goals and they really believe in what they're trying to accomplish, but they don't take the time to actually line out what it's going to take to win. And many times that's where the shortfall is. It's in the activity. It's not in the effort, right? People are working hard, but they're working hard on the wrong things. And if you don't prioritize it, if you don't get all that straight, if you don't make it a point to figure out exactly what you need to accomplish by the day, by the week, by the month in each of those categories, then don't be surprised if you fall a little bit short of your goal. If you're a hard worker, chances are you're going to get close to accomplishing what it is that you set out to do, but you probably won't crush the goal and you probably won't accomplish the goal many times. More often than not, if you don't have it dialed in on what it's actually going to take, then you will probably fall short. In other areas of your life, whatever that is, your relationships, your friendships, maybe relationships that you want to repair, what does it take to do that? And what does it look like? How many people have you lost touch with that you want to reconnect with? Making sense here? So think about this. What does it actually take to win in 2022? Each bucket of your life. For me, that is faith. What's it going to take for me to get deeper in my faith, for me to be more dialed in on that side of my life, the spiritual side of my life? Family. What does it take for me to be a 10 out of 10 husband? What does it take for me to be a 10 out of 10 father? There's a whole list of things that I got to do to be able to accomplish that, right? Finances. What does it look like? Where do I want to be at the end of 2022? How much money do I want to have in the bank? How much income do I want to make? What does that look like? Finances are very important conversation. Fitness, another conversation. What does it look like? How often are you going to work out? How are you going to eat? How are you going to do it? What activity does it take? And how are you going to fit that into your schedule? And of course, there's a whole side of business to all of our lives, regardless of what that looks like. How do we accomplish all of these things? How do we dial in every single area of our lives to be able to look back December 21st, 2022 and say, man, since that podcast I listened to a year ago, I made all of these changes and I won in 2022. I won because of the effort that I put out and the plan that I had that I executed. And that, guys, is all it takes. It's easier than you think. But if you don't write it down and you don't have a plan and you don't know what winning looks like, what does it look like for me to win today? What does it look like for me to win in 2022? What does it look like? What do I actually have to do in order to accomplish all these things I want to accomplish? Simple, but you have to write it down and you have to have a plan and you have to get super clear on what it's going to take for you to accomplish it. And I promise you this, when you get super clear, you write your goals down every single day, 365 days of the year. You create a strategy for how you're going to win and you're proactive in your life and you show up every single day with a massive amount of clarity, purpose, and intention. Man, the victory is just a matter of time. Everything you thought you couldn't have for a long period of time in your life will start to get within reach. Because you have a plan, because you have clarity, because you know where you're going. Trust me, anybody that's around me regularly will tell you that this is how I operate. I write stuff down, I put it on the lock screen of my phone, call it manifestation, call it whatever you want. But I'm telling you, what it will take to win in 2022, it is more than what you did in 2021 because the world's getting better. Everybody is getting better at what they do. There's easier ways to do things, faster. There's better technology. There's more resources. If you're not getting better, the world around you is experiencing skills inflation. Everybody's skills are inflating. Everybody's knowledge is increasing. And so it's going to take more. It's going to take more focus, more effort, more discipline, and a better plan. How you execute and how you inspire those around you to execute will determine where you end up in 2022. Especially how you execute on the days that you don't feel like it. So ask yourself the question, what does it take in those buckets for you to create success in 2022? What does success actually look like for you? Is there an area of your life where things aren't quite right now? If there is, write it down. Figure out what it takes for you to fix that. If you find yourself in a negative spot in your life, maybe it's waking up every day and writing 10 things that you're grateful for. That will change you. That will make you less negative. I promise you. Whatever that is, get clear on the steps, the activities that it takes every single day. If you are not performing at your potential, which everybody knows if they are or they aren't, and how close they are to achieving their potential if they are, right? You know how hard you're going. You know how much of your potential you're achieving. So think about that. And what are the steps that it takes to get closer and closer and closer to your potential? That's it for today, guys. Thank you guys for being here. So grateful for your support, man. Every single morning, just a ton of you guys show up here in the morning, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or over on LinkedIn. And man, the downloads on the podcast just continue to grow. You know, I check it every once in a while. I don't check it every day. The other day I checked it and I'm like, man, the average number of downloads per show just continues to grow and grow and grow. Reminder, there are 439 other episodes of this show available to you on YouTube, on the podcast platforms. You can go listen all the way back to several years ago when we started looking into this camera every single morning and talking to each other here. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.